Alrighty, in this video I want to make use of the building materials that we have set up. So when we are able to snap, or when we are snapped, I want it to be green. When not, I want it to be red. So to begin, let's go ahead and head over here to our building visual.cpp, go to our header, and we want to set up 2 U properties. So I'm going to do those below everything. And these are going to be, well, our materials that we want to use. So we want a U, let's see, what do you call it? Material, is it a material instance? I think. And then we're going to call this one false material. We want another one for true material. Or better yet, let's just do material true, just so it's a little easier to find. So material false and material true, just like so. And now we want to go ahead and forward declare. So class U material instance. Great. Let's go over to building visual.cpp. And in the begin play, we want to actually assign that material, like all the materials that we have, to the mesh. So we go to begin play, or better yet, we want to set a, what do you call it? Create a dynamic material instance. So that way we can kind of, well, no, not necessarily that, but we want to just change the material. So we may actually not even have to do that. So if we go to set build position, go to blocking hit, and if we are able to snap, we want to try to set the material. So let's go ahead and give that a try. Build mesh, I haven't done this in a while. Let's just see what we have for material. So we have get material, all that fun stuff. We have set material, so that takes in the index. Okay, so it'll take in a U material interface. Not sure exactly what that is, but we're going to pass in 0 and then pass in the true or material true. Can we do that? Okay, seems to not complain. So we're going to do if material true. We will set that material. And we're going to have another condition here as well, so we're not constantly setting the material just for the sake of sanity. All right. Now we want to do kind of the same deal, but for false. So if material false, we want to set it to material false. So let's go ahead and just give that a try. And before we do anything else, let's just make sure that this actually does work. All right, let's go ahead and reopen our BP visual building visual blueprint. And here's our material false. So we're just going to set material false and material true. Compile and save. And let's give it a try. So we press it, and there we go. We are green. We are red. Green, green, and good to go. And as you can see, the material is staying. That's completely fine, because by default, I want to actually set it to one of those materials based on whether or not we can actually build. So by default, I want to set this to true. And we're going to have other conditions there in the future that will kind of help dictate whether or not we can build it. Or, well, yeah, build it. So we're going to, by default, set this to build true. So in begin play, after everything's been handled, we want to set our material to build true. Simple. Okay. Now we want to set up some kind of condition to dictate what material we are currently on. So we're just going to have a boolean for that. So bool b material is true. And let's set that to false by default. So come down here where we set it to true, we're going to do material is true equals true. And then come down here to set building position. If material true and b material is not true, so it's false, we want to set b material is true to true and set the material to match it. So we're going to do the exact same thing, kind of the inverse or the opposite way down here. So if material is false and b material is true, we set b material is true equals false. So this should prevent the constant spamming of setting the material, because that's just kind of a waste of resources. Alrighty, let's go ahead and make sure that still works. Should be fine. There we go. We got our snapping. That's all good. Go to red. And we're still kind of green out here, but that's because we don't have any sort of conditions out here yet. And I eventually want to make it so if we try to place it, like like this, for example, that's going to be a no. It's going to be red. And then I want it to eventually be green, as we get kind of like out here just for example. So we'll get to that eventually. We're also gonna have to figure out some way to kind of offset the foundation so that kind of crap doesn't happen. So we can actually place, snap the meshes together, because currently if I place it and I snap my place, it's just gonna kind of keep going up. But you can see I'm able to still switch between each of the instances just fine. I can keep going up and up and up. And I'm kind of curious how high I can go with this, and I think that's about my limit. Oh, hold it. Never mind. But yeah, we got a leaning tower of instance mesh. Well, not instance meshes. These I think are all actually separate actors currently, because we need to add them to the to which one we're attached to. So that's where we're gonna have to try to figure out what component we want to add them to, but we'll get there. Alrighty, so we have our materials set up. So building, all that fun stuff. Attaching good and bad and all that crap. So we're gonna have to eventually do some filtering. So for example, I don't want to be able to place a wall just out here in the middle of nowhere. I shouldn't be able to do that. Granted, it still places the foundation. We haven't set that up yet, but I don't want to be able to do that. So those are just going to be kind of things that we have to remember to do. But anyways, that is going to be all for this video. If you like what I'm doing and you want to help support me, you can find a link to my Patreon down in the description below, where I have a team deathmatch series just for Patrons, as well as you get early access to nearly all my videos, such as this one. If you have any questions or anything like that, feel free to join my Discord that's also linked down below, and I'll try to help you out. So, I'll see you in the next video.